So, one of the favorite memories that I had with Grandma and Grandpa was actually going around from church to church. We spent a lot of time together because they were living here in California and I lived in California. This was before they moved back to Oklahoma. And I just remember how much the people really loved them. I remember the families that they ministered to would invite us over to dinner. We'd go over there, and they were just really generous people too. I remember getting gifts sometimes just because I was their grandson, um, like coins and things like that. But I spent a lot of time hanging out in their backyard, playing with roly-poly bugs. That's probably the strangest thing to probably remember about hanging out with Grandma and Grandpa Hendricks. That and their apple tree. That apple tree with those kind of, they were either green or brown. It just depended. Maybe they had two apple trees. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, and spending the night and things like that. But I think I have so many memories. I think one that really, really stands out is on Halloween. They would come over to our house, and when I was a kid, and go trick or treating, and then I'd come back home, and Grandpa would try to negotiate and scam me out of candy. That's probably a bad thing to say about a pastor, but he was really good at negotiating, and he would always want the chocolate. He'd always try to smooge me out of the candy bars. But I think we were in a unique position to have kind of grandparents who had the foresight and the passion for Jesus, not only to share it to their families, but to take it across the nation. They started off in Oklahoma, then they came to California, and then they went back to Oklahoma, and then they came back to California, and then they went back to Oklahoma. But in between those two main stages of existence, they affected the lives of just countless people. And that is a legacy that you just can't beat. I mean, most of us will never be able to have that kind of testimony or that kind of legacy. Our spectrum and realm is very limited a lot of times in who we personally can affect. We can affect our own families. We can affect those that are involved with us at work, in our hobbies, and sometimes at our church. A lot of times it's harder at the church because there's so many people, and it's such a busy place, and the relationships are often not as in depth as they are inside of our own kind of community of that we're involved in, engaged in a daily part of our lives, working and playing. And so I think that the greatest gift that they gave us is that passion to share who Jesus is and to love Jesus and to make Jesus well known